Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Okay, today we are tackling a really interesting crypto project. One that seems to be having a massive, almost like an existential identity crisis.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. We're looking at the CRPE token. It's this collision, right, between just aggressive, meme-fueled hype and surprisingly complex DeFi infrastructure.
Exactly. How does something named, after a pancake try to revolutionize real-world asset tokenization? It feels weird.
Well, that's the conflict we're digging into. Our mission today is to sift through this material. We've got CoinMarketCap AI analysis, Forbes data, CRPE DO announcements, and figure out, can this project actually move past its, let's be honest, volatile joke coin roots?
Right. Can the actual tools they're building, across Polygon and BNB Smart Chain, can they really sustain the crazy hype metrics?
Yeah.
Or is it just fluff?
Is it sugar and hot air? Yeah. Let's find out.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We kind of have to start with the fire, right?
Yeah.
The sheer viral traction and that speculative growth.
But the numbers are just, well, they're unbelievable. They really are. If you look at the 90-day return, this is leading up to October 2025. It hit 94,571%.
94,000%. That's not a typo, folks. Almost 100,000% gain.
Yeah.
In 3 months. That's the kind of greed engine that drives a community like this.
But what's really fascinating, or maybe predictable, is how fast that kind of vertical rally gets punished. It makes things incredibly fragile.
Yeah.
We saw that huge spike, then bam, an 11.43% drop in just 24 hours. Purely profit takers just rushing out.
Okay, so that shows the sheer volatility.
Absolutely. You're looking at a massive range here. All-time high around 0.0000807, all-time low 0.0000004. It's a wild playground.
And the interesting part is the team isn't running away from the meme label, are they? The sources actually say they're explicitly meme first, utility second.
They're openly modeling themselves after giants like Shiab. They understand that you need that initial hype, that fire, as you called it.
And it worked for them, at least for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They hit #1 trending on CoinMarketCap, on Gecko Terminal 2, around mid-August 2025. It's all about creating that, self-fulfilling social dominance.
And holder count. That's always a key metric.
Big time. They surged past 5,500 holders. And analysts are really watching for that push towards 10,000. That's often seen as a major psychological point.
Right. Crossing 10K often gets you more visibility, maybe exchange listings, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Potentially exponential social reach comes with it.
Okay, with every massive hype cycle, there's always the dark side. We saw that 39% plunge in 24-hour trading volume, down to around $3.1 million. What does that volume drop really tell us?
It tells us a couple of really critical things. First, the liquidity is pretty thin.
Right.
Meaning when not many people are actively trading huge amounts, any large seller, and remember, some people are sitting on potentially 94,000% gains.
Right. Huge incentive to sell.
Huge. So one big sell order can just tank the price way more dramatically than in a deeper market. Second thing is the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. It's cooling off.
Okay, so RSI cooling means momentum is stalling.
Exactly. It was way up in those overheated, overbought levels. Now it's coming down, which suggests the market's correcting. And given that the wider crypto market sentiment, according to the indexes, is leaning towards fear, well, these sharp corrections are kind of expected when that pure hype runs out of steam.
So, okay, one side of the coin is this hyper-volatile, fear and greed roller coaster.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes me pretty skeptical. Why would anyone building real financial tools want their project tied to a price chart that looks like, an EKG during a heart attack?
Yeah.
Which I guess brings us neatly to part 2. The infrastructure playbook. Is CREPE actually trying to be more than just a pancake joke?
Well, based on the tech they've actually deployed, the utility argument is surprisingly strong. Even though it seems totally contradictory to the branding, they seem to be trying to solve some real DeFi problems.
Okay.
The technical value proposition suggests they're aiming to be much more than a meme. Let's start with maybe their most unique feature, CREPE Cakes.
CREPE Cakes. Okay, that still sounds like a dessert menu, not fintech.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, the naming. But think of it like monetizing your secret investment recipe.
Okay.
CRPE Cakes let users actually design, publish, and then monetize their own custom yield farming strategies. So if you're a really sharp DeFi strategist, you can build your model, put it out there.
Other people can use it.
Exactly. And when other users adopt your strategy, you earn rewards. It's built on Polygon, so you get the low fees and speed. And it's really about collaboration, making investment knowledge accessible, even turning it into like an active income stream.
Huh. Okay, that is genuinely quite innovative. Paid strategy sharing, basically.
Yeah.
But you mentioned complexity earlier. It sounds like things get more serious with their, what was it, Planetary Augmented Asset Makerspace?
PM?
PAM. Yeah, the name is definitely something. It sounds like NASA, right?
A little bit, yeah.
But PAM is probably the biggest sign the team is actually serious about building real infrastructure, even with the fun token branding.
So what is it, fundamentally? At its core, PIAM is designed as a complex asset diversification system. Think of it as a decentralized tool that lets you create your own customized, diversified baskets of assets.
Like building your own little ETF or index fund, but for the DeFi world?
Precisely. And this is the really critical twist, it includes real-world assets. RWAs.
Whoa, okay. Like what?
We're talking tokenized commodities, maybe tokenized real estate alongside your standard crypto assets. This system, which runs mostly on the BNB Smart Chain, is their big play to link this, super volatile meme token directly to potentially high-value, high-trust RWA tokenization.
Wait, hang on. Let me get this straight. A token named CAEPE that just did nearly 100,000% return and then crashed is the foundation for tokenizing real estate. Isn't linking serious, almost regulated RWA stuff to a meme ecosystem? I mean, isn't that just fundamentally contradictory and incredibly risky?
It certainly looks that way on the surface. The sources suggest it's a calculated risk, though. The bet seems to be that the meme's social reach, the eyeballs it attracts,
brings people in the door for the serious tech.
That seems to be the hope. And to try and counter that risk perception, they've built in some important trust features, like permanently locked liquidity pools.
Okay. To prevent rug pulls. That's key.
It's a major defense against those notorious scams, yeah. And they also have that very attractive 0% buy-sell transaction tax.
Right, the zero tax. That's smart, actually. It actively courts, like high-frequency traders, doesn't it? People looking for frictionless swaps.
Exactly. Could bring in more serious trading volume, maybe stabilize things a bit, separate from just the meme chasers.
And does that connect to their other tools?
It does. That liquidity argument is kind of supported by their copy trading system.
Copy trading, okay. So following the whales.
Pretty much. The system scans popular, successful wallets, the whales, and lets users automatically copy their profitable trades. It's sort of an easy on-ramp for people who want exposure to what successful traders are doing, but maybe don't want to design their own CREPE Cakes strategy.
Okay, so this is really interesting. They're aggressively going after two very different crowds, aren't they? The 94,000% moonshot chasers and the potentially more serious RWA and copy trading folks. How do they plan to actually sustain this split personality? Let's maybe transition into the governance, the roadmap, how they keep this going.
Yeah, good question. We should look at the utilities that are actually live and running right now. For instance, their Staking 2.0 program.
Staking 2.0.
Yeah, their second generation of CRE staking. It's running right now, started November 2024, goes through to November 15th, 2025. And it's set to distribute a total of 6 million CRE tokens as rewards.
Okay, so that shows some commitment to rewarding long-term holders, people willing to lock up their tokens.
Definitely. It incentivizes holding. And critically, the staking is happening on the Polygon network.
Interesting. So not on BNB chain, where PAM mostly is.
Right. Which means users need to hold POL coins, that's the rebranded Matic token, to pay for gas fees for staking transactions.
So users have to be kind of sophisticated, juggling wallets on two different chains, managing gas tokens.
It requires a bit more effort, yeah. You need to manage your compounding strategy, clicking moderately, maybe a few times a day, as they suggest. This multi-chain aspect is actually a pretty big hint about their overall strategy and their roadmap.
How so?
Well, the source material lays out a clear progression for 2025. Q1 was about expanding those CREPE Cake strategies we talked about. Q2 introduced more liquidity incentives. And right now, Q3 is focused on launching full governance features.
Governance. Okay, so this is where the token holders actually get a say.
Exactly. This is where the meme community potentially starts getting the keys to the serious infrastructure. Token holders will get to vote on upgrades, future directions, protocol changes.
Wow. Okay, that creates a fascinating tension, doesn't it? Are we about to see speculators who maybe just jumped in for those 94,000% gains, voting on the future of real-world asset tokenization protocols? That feels like a huge gamble on the community maturing alongside the tech.
It's the ultimate test, perhaps, but the single biggest technical challenge, the one that will likely determine if they genuinely manage this pivot from joke to infrastructure. That's the planned Q4 2025 milestone.
Which
cross-chain support.
It's a holy grail for a lot of projects. That's the final showdown then.
Absolutely. If they can successfully execute genuine cross-chain capabilities, allowing Palm to work seamlessly across different blockchains, attracting serious developers who aren't tied to just one chain, then the utility argument gets a massive boost.
But if they fail, or delay that Q4 plan significantly,
then the project probably remains stuck as a high-risk novelty asset, highly sensitive to market fear, still driven mainly by speculative cycles, not fundamental utility adoption.
So it really boils down to execution under pressure. Can the team actually deliver these complex utilities, payment, governance, and especially that cross-chain piece? Can that delivery outweigh the, let's face it, enormous risk baked into their brand and that hyper volatility?
Right now. Yeah, the price action is definitely still dominated by fear and greed, by huge profit-taking waves. But, the core technology they've already built isn't trivial.
True. PCAM and CREPE Cakes sound quite advanced.
They are. They've deployed specialized DeFi tools, created a marketplace for strategies. The basic scaffolding for something serious is there.
So longevity really hinges on pulling off that Q4 cross-chain goal. They've put in trust features, locked liquidity, zero taxes, but that final tech execution.
Yeah.
That's the moment the broader market decides if CREPE is just a volatile dessert or maybe a real building block for future finance.
Precisely. And that leads us to the really provocative thought to leave you with. We know CREPE Cakes let you monetize DeFi knowledge. We know Pommy is designed for these complex baskets, including tokenized real-world assets. The technology roadmap is laid out. The community today, though, is largely focused on chasing those huge percentage gains, the meme status. If, and it's a big if, but if the tech infrastructure for serious, complex, RWA-backed financial strategies becomes fully available and functional, how long does it take for that community focus to actually shift?
From just speculating on the meme to actually building, sharing, and using those complex RWA strategies.
Exactly. When does the utility potentially overtake the hype? Or does it?
Something to definitely mull over maybe as you watch those wild charts or even think about your own investment approach. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.